let's spend some time to take a look at some of the updates or informations which I think it will be quite crucial for you to figure out what sort of strategy, the techniques that you should be applying. And at the same time, I will also like to show you the formations of the questions. This morning we have seen a couple of documents and some of the sample of the questions, especially the sample question. I will show you a bit more details, how exactly the questions is being created and what kinds of hint that you expect to pick it up from there. As you may know, starting from 2018 onwards, the exam format of APMs has been remained as follows. Section A, you will have a case study questions with 50 marks. Section B, you will be having 2 questions with 25 marks each. And for 2 questions, that comes to 50 marks. At the same time, of these 3 questions, the split of the marks between computational, as well as the theoretical element, it was split in a range of about 20 marks maximum on the calculation, 80 marks minimum. It's on the theory. I'm quite sure those of you who have went for the exams, you would know and agree with me. This 80-20 wasn't found in any of the document. These numbers is from me. But if you look at the marks allocations in every sitting, it goes in this range. So the message here is very clear. In order for you to pass the APM, it is the theory that matters. The calculations in APM are not only the marks is low, the technical aspect of the calculation are pretty low. That means not too many calculations in APM are really difficult if you ask me. In fact, a lot of calculations are still based on your previous knowledge that you learned from the previous subjects, SBL, F9, F5. Those are good enough for you to score on the calculation. But why students still fail on the calculation? According to the examiner report, 2 possible reasons behind. Number 1, students forgot already the calculation. In one of the recent exams in this year, there was a question asking to calculate profit margin and ROI, and the student don't know how to calculate. Yeah, very bad. The students very, very lousy. If I were the students in the sitting, I also know, don't talk big. If many students didn't do well, that also could happen to you, obviously. So whatever it is, never underestimate your fundamental knowledge. No matter how simple, how fundamentals the tools is, it can be as simple as profit margin. It can be as simple as ROI. It can be as simple as inventory days, receivable days. They are still within your examination focus. And today, the questions we're going through in a short while will involve in this. So my suggestion for you, as long as your fundamentals on the formulas and the calculations are okay, this 20 marks is quite easy to grab within a short period of time. But because the students are lacking and underestimating the efforts that have to put in to remember the calculation, they forgot. And this is where they lose the mark, which therefore cause failure. The second reason of failure on the calculation is because the calculation seems to be within the grasp of the students. I didn't say easier, I say the students know the answer. At the end, you know what happened? They overspend the time on the calculation. This is very true. That happen in two kinds of calculation in APM exam. Number one, to calculate the ranges of payoff, which is the ranges of profit when you are asked to apply the techniques for decision making under risk and uncertainty. You know, to apply maximax, to apply maximin or minimax regret, you need to calculate ranges of payoff, ranges of profits under different scenario with different alternatives. To calculate each and every one, it takes you time already. And this is where the time is all gone. The second possible calculations that could also consume a lot of time is the calculation of economic value added. Students, when they see EVA, they get very excited because they are very fully prepared, or they get very nervous because they are not fully prepared. Fully prepared one, I don't worry, but the half pail water one, that is the one I worry the most for you. Mrs. and the formulas, I know a little bit, but I forgot the other part already. Then you hang there for long, or you don't have enough practices. When you come to certain adjustment, I don't know how to adjust this item. Then you stuck there already for long. These are the calculation, number two, that will take a lot of time from you. So as long as you can overcome these two obstacles, you shouldn't have too much of the challenges in getting these 20 marks. Looking at what came out in July 20, you can eliminate the first type of calculation. What left behind for your September is EDA. That's the one that could probably take quite a bit of time from you. So if you want to take advantage of this computational, one word, practice, until you're so familiar with no matter what kinds of tricks, what kinds of adjustment, it's all within your control, that you know how to deal with it. And then you're fine. So that is the calculation I worry for you. As for the theory, I will talk about this more detail in a short while. So as I say to you, you can pass your APM. It's all because you do well in the theory. If you fail your APM, that is also because you didn't do well in the theory. Anyway, I'll come to this in a short while. Looking at the three questions with 3 hours and 15 minutes of time that you have in total, that is equals to 195 minutes. Go back home, ask yourself, what did you do in your past experience of any professional paper, exclude SPL. SPL is 4 hours, okay? The rest of the professional paper, what do you do? Especially if you have taken this paper before, what did you do in this timing? I don't have to know. I don't have to ask you. I tell you what I will do. After listening, Mrs. San, you already stated in the revision note. Yeah, correct, but I'm telling you a bit more detailed one. After hearing what I say, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel confident, no need to follow. Stick to your own one, no problem. Okay? But if after hearing, Mrs. San, worth trying. Worth trying, from now until the exam, you must rehearse this pattern for at least 3 rounds. By getting ready 3 sets of exam paper, rehearse this pattern until everything is within your control. Then you go to the September exam, you will find this pattern really help you. You cannot be like lazier. Okay, Mrs. I think this better work. What do you do? Do nothing. Until the exam itself, then only you do these things in the first time. Sure fail one. Because this is my habit. It's not your habit. Theoretically, it works. Practically, whether you can make it work or not, that is another story. So you got to practice and practice, rehearse and rehearse until this becomes your habit. Okay? Here we go. The first things I suggest you to do in the first 5 minutes during the exam. Now you know that the 15 minutes is originally for reading and planning, right? Now no more divider. You want to do exam paper is in front of you. You may do now. 3 hours, 15 minutes. This is all you have. If you are the student who is ultra kiasu, turn to the questions one, start writing your answer within the first 5 minutes. No need to see sure fail one this one. This ultra kiasu habit sure fail one, because you still haven't realized what P papers is all about. We're not asking you to raise as quickly as you can. We're asking you to show a good quality of thinking, a good quality of ideas. We want this. Speed comes number 2. So as such, my suggestion in the first 5 minutes is to read all the requirements of all the questions. I show you a pattern. Since we will be going for March 20, questions 1. Okay, you can get ready your questions paper in the revision note, yeah? March 20, questions 1. Now you know you have 3 questions in your coming exam. 5 minutes, divide 3 questions. Each one take about 1.33 minutes. Or I would say it will be what, 1.67 or so, whatever. Okay, I think it's about 1.66 whatever. So you have slightly more than 1.5 minutes per questions to do like this. Since you're still having a paper-based exam, go to the exam hall, bring blue pen, black pen, red pen. Do not bring pencil, do not bring highlighter. Anything you want to jotting in the questions paper, jotting with red pen. You do like this. I need to pick up 3 kinds of words in the requirement. First, we call verb, the one I told you just now. We call instruction. Second is called answer. Evaluate what. Discuss what. That's called answer. The third word is and. One and, look, it means I'm asking you for 2 things. There will be 2 tasks you must respond. And, it means I'm asking you for 1, 2, 3. You got to respond 3 things. Basic habits, okay? Just pick this up. At this point, remember the golden rule. Do the right thing at the right time. You only got 5 minutes. Your job is to circle and underline. You're not supposed to plan. You're not supposed to think. Don't do it yet. Required. I just want to remind you. Nowadays, they will tell you the date. The assumed date now. They'll tell this to you. Remember this. Then when you read the first sentence, what is the verb? Write. What is the answer? Report. The report is to the CEO of this company. About what? Respond to her instruction. When you see this word, it is the similar meaning as requested. Remember, you see this or you see that, the one I mentioned just now. You must tell yourself, go back to the story. Look for this conversation. What did the person ask? When you know what the person was asking, that is your requirement that you must answer. This is the style of the questions since September 18. You may not see the requirement in here. When you read this part, you may not know what to do. You got to read what the questions say, especially when you see these kinds of sentence. As respond to her instruction, or as requested, or as required. You must tell yourself, go and read the question, look for that sentence, look for that conversation to find out what the person asks you. Pick that up, and you must answer that question. Okay, I'm giving you all the habit. You're going to listen very carefully and practice all these habits in exam. You should be fine. Whatever they ask, common sense tells me it must relate to 4 aspects of task. No point for me to underline. You underline all, you must not underline everything. No need, obviously, right? No need to underline one. Underline is only serving the point when it's too long or there are too many keywords. Otherwise, no need to underline, just do like this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's it. They ask for performance reporting. They ask for performance indicator. They ask about roles of accountant. They ask about opportunity and risk of bringing in the new data warehouse. Honestly speaking, when you read 1, 2, 3, 4, do you know what to write? You will never know, because the tasks are hidden in the story, not here. I want you to take note. This is the style of the new exam paper starting from September 18. Get yourself used to this style as quickly and as much as you can. The last thing I want to remind you is the professional marks. Everyone knows it's 4 marks, but I don't know whether you notice these words. To earn this 4 marks, you're going to ask yourself, what is the format that will grant you the mark? What is the style? What is the structure of your answer that grant you this mark? I will tell you all these things in a short while. Enough? Time check. 5 minutes, divide 3 questions. You have about 1.5 minutes, as I say, more than 1.5 minutes. Do you need more than 1.5 minutes here? No need. Or if you ask me, 30 seconds also enough. Okay, you can finish reading, you finish reading, that's it. Please also do the same for questions 2. Right? Now is this day. Okay? A. Verb. Do we have verb? Advise. Advise what? Advise what? Of course, advise the director. Don't go and underline everything. If you underline everything, you must not don't do it, right? Your advice is about the implementations of step number 2 of VBM. You know what's VBM, by the way? Stands for Value-Based Management. And then, a couple of minutes ago, I just mentioned, what do you have to do? Read the story, look for the conversation. What did the director say? Connect to here. You connect to here, you can find precisely what you have to do in part A. Students who fail, they don't even know. When they see this word, they're going to do this and that. They didn't connect. So they didn't connect, you know what? They only answered this part. They forgot the story still have something to respond. So you didn't respond to one on the top, you're gone already. Understand? These are the habits I need you to pick it up. Otherwise, you see the mark so high. And the questions is so short. Cannot be, ma. There must be a lot of things you have to respond, ma. How do you know? Go and read the story. B. I expect a few times I drew, every one of you should demonstrate some kind of learning curve in you. So I will go faster and I will talk lesser. I will pass the ball over to you now. Okay? So B. Verb. Evaluate. I don't know about you. I think this is important. Both. Both means 2 lah. 2 of what? I don't know. Let's go on. When I see this word, whether it's all about English now. Whether something is a word in the middle. What is that? Huh? Don't look at this. I'm asking you English. When you write a sentence starting with whether, what is a word? And or of course. Whether something or something ma. Another word is either or etc. Pick the or. You got the or, meaning you have 2 choices. But usually at professional level, you don't see the or. The or is hidden. You must know where the or comes out to see the 2 choices. You know what I'm talking about? You can try this. I know this is a cutoff. I don't know whether you know that. Because I just say, when you see N, it means two tasks. Two tasks. The first task is here, whether T has created value. The two answer is, one, T has created value. The other answer is, T has not created value. Don't you think so? So I'm asking you, created or not created value? You're going to prove to me which side. With the evidence, most likely the evidence is like a kind of figures they have to calculate. When this is done, the second task comes in. Second task. Very good. Evaluate. This means part B have two tasks. Both tasks ask you to evaluate. You know what I'm talking about? Evaluate the difficulties. How many difficulties do you have to talk about? Minimum 2. More than 1? Because difficulties. Understand? So the word both, evaluate both. Now I told you, this word appear dua kali. That's why they say both. You know what I'm talking about? Evaluate task 1, evaluate task 2. So when you answer your part B, write nicely. This is my answer for task 1. This is my answer for task 2. No matter who mark your script, they sure love you. They love you, they love me, obviously. I'm telling you how to write your answer to be a marker-friendly answer. You know how to produce a marker-friendly answer. One day you finish your study in ACCA, remember what you do here. That's to teach you how to become a better person in your workplace. Don't you think so? Yeah. How do you make you are someone that everyone loves to work with you? You got to learn how to put yourself into other people's shoes. This is the same principles that we are using over here. Okay? 2 requirements. But again, I told you, during the exam, you only got 1.67 minutes. Don't think like this. Your job is just to circle, underline. That's it. But when you circle, underline, you need to bring in everything I'm telling you now simultaneously. And you're going to do it in 1.67 minutes. Purely circle, underline. You ask me, 20 seconds also enough already. Don't you think so? You go back, you try yourself. 20 seconds is enough. The rest of the time, you still got about what? 1 minute to go? You identify the divider, pick up the task, count the task. Learn how to count the tasks. Every requirement is likely there's more than one task because the mark is high and heavy. Okay? Try one more. The more I try, the more I expect you to have more learning curve effects over here. So, what do you notice? Something that is similar, whether it is questions 1 or questions 2 or 3. What is similar? The dates are there. I need you to expect in your coming September exam, every requirement of your coming September exam paper, the date is all here. Okay? Let's look at A. Verb. How many area to assess? How many area to assess? 2. Very good. Which 2? Purchasing and? Yeah. Assess the changes that the company will have to make in the area of purchasing and production on the supply of goods to E with the JIT basis. And you notice that? I don't just simply underline. Along the way, I use different symbol. I use circle, I use underline, I use stroke, I use zigzag. You imagine everything also underline. What's the difference? Can't tell one ma. Your purpose of underline is to use different symbol, label with different color. Just that I didn't ask you to use highlighter wasting time. Use red pen, use different sign only. That is how you cascade your tasks into a very clear manner. Okay, ma? Part B. Task. Prepare. Prepare what? This is the output of the answer, something called cost of quality report. Okay? Any more tasks? Yeah. And is there a verb on the second task? Is there a verb? Yes. Comment. Now what if the verb comment is not there? What verb is that? Go back to the front. You understand what I'm saying? So when there's a verb there, of course, it's a follow the verb over here. Comment on potential quality cost changes in light of the proposed move to JIT. Time? Within 1.67 minutes. That should be done easily, right? 5 minutes, you do like this, sure enough. More than enough, in fact. Before I tell you what to do on the next 5 minutes, look here. English class. Assuming if you have done a lot of past test paper on this exam, can you help to rewrite this sentence in the way that your examiner used the most by looking at your past exam? I start first. The other way your examiner liked to face this requirement is starting with this word, evaluate. Anyone want to try? Especially for those who have taken this exam before and you have tried a lot of past test paper of APM. I know evaluate also called assess lah, yeah, okay lah. Better the what? Yeah, I'm asking for the whole sentences. Rephrase it. Don't know. Okay. Look here. A very common type of sentence that is asking this one is evaluate my questions for you. Fill in the blank. This is 1 and this is 2. Which one is 1? Very good. Only JIT. Only JIT? I mean 1. Which one is 1? I need the whole sentence. Only JIT, you sure? Yes. What is number 2? Read the whole sentence. This task has the same meaning as evaluate the impact of proposed move to JIT on potential quality cost changes. You understand what I'm saying? This is the most common type of questions in APM, which unfortunately, this is also the question students did very badly. Let's not talk about the answer. Let's talk about, do you know what exactly the question is asking for? Okay? I will talk about this in a short while, but I'm telling you, this is the common one. If you don't believe what I'm saying, you look at all the previous exam paper, you check one by one on the requirement. I guarantee you, every sitting, at least one requirement is like that. March 20, macam ini, just that it changed the pattern already. It changed the style of the wording, but the substance is still the same. They're still asking you evaluate the impact of this on that. Okay, this kind of question in your coming September, sure got one. It is the matter of what is the 1, what is the 2. The 1 and the 2 can change a lot, right? But this style is always there. And these kinds of questions usually carry very high marks. You see the marks? That is what I'm talking about. Okay, back to here. You know what I'm doing on the first 5 minutes? Next 5 minutes, which I also don't think you need 5 minutes for this one. That is to plan for the sequence of attempt. Meaning to say, which one do you start first? Remember the report that you read this morning. My suggestion is you have two options. Option 1, which is the one you saw in the report many students use, which I think you also use it. You start with question 1. You follow by the other two questions. Yes, A, B, B ma? Okay ma? So those of you who did your exam on APM previously, are you like that? Are you doing this way? You start with questions 1 and then you go for 2, you go for 3, or maybe you go for 3, you go for 2, right? You are like this, huh? I didn't say this is not good, okay? Try to do something different if you want to see some breakthrough. It is the second option I recommend. Start with a B, go by an A, end with a B. This is like your football team lineup. You know, 4-4-2, 4-3-2-1, macam itu lah. You want to win a match, you must know how to line up a player, common sense. So to me, this is the same. The third choice, sure no way one is BBA. Never sure die one. Suicide. Forget about that. My suggestion is this. Over the last 20 over years, this was the only strategy I tell the students. And students who practice thoroughly on this, you can see the message, the thinking message they wrote to me, which I will show it to you over these 3 days. It's different from other students. The students will never say to you, if you do ABB, Mrs. San, thank you very much for your excellence exam technique. Come on, there's no exam technique, You start with A, you just go in sequence, You try something different, you can see the different impact. The reason is very simple. When you go to the exam hall, no matter how experienced you are, you should get nervous. Your mind is just about to warm up. If you start looking at a long question, psychologically, it takes you longer time to digest, which is you have to. So it takes you longer time to start writing something on your answer script. You and I know marks only start coming in when you start writing. As long as you don't write, no mark in your pocket, common sense. But you got to make sure when you start writing, you cannot write bullshit. You got to write something that makes sense that earn you marks one. If you start with A, your time for you to start collecting the first mark probably is half an hour later. Easily half an hour later, don't you think so? But imagine if I start with a B, my requirements are shorter. Shorter in a sense, if you look at this. Only 2 requirements. Even though each requirement is longer comparing to questions 1. Can you tell the difference? You see the requirement in questions 1? There are 4 tasks, but each one is so short because it all hides in the story. But in the section B, you notice something? Some it hide in the story. Some they didn't hide. You realize that? Some they hide, some they don't. You see your questions 3? Did they say as requested? They didn't say no hiding everything is here. Actually, if you know how to analyze requirement, my comment, this exam paper, it's very inconsistent. The questions 1, the style is one kind. The questions 2 and 3, the style is another kind. The kind of style in questions 1 is a new one. The style in the other 2 questions on B is generally still the old one. So it is like this examining team, change some, don't change some. The section B, suka-suka, use the new style. Suka-suka, use the old style. You aware of this or not? If you don't aware of this, that's why you still come up. Mr. Chan, no matter how many times I try to pass this question, still fail. Because there are some kind of inconsistency. Even though the ACCA shout very loud to everyone and say, yeah guys, we have changed the style. Bullshit lah. They only changed the style partially. They didn't change the style for all the questions yet. I think you should realize by now. Anyway, as long as B gave you the task clearer, which I don't know whether you agree with me. I think requirement in B is clearer. When you read the requirement, you know what to do already. More importantly, the story is shorter. The time for you to read, to digest, to plan is quicker. When other students out there take at least half an hour, because they start with questions 1 to start writing. Maybe you can start writing in the first 20 minutes, let's say. You know what? When you start writing, the one who sits beside you can tell one Don't you think so? Mr. Chan, I'm very honest one. I didn't cheat one. Who asked you to cheat? Your eyesight can see like this one, don't you think so? You can feel when your students beside you start doing something already. You can feel one. The most irritating noise is the pop 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 calculator sound. That one will make you very nervous one. But luckily in APM, the pop 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 sound is a good sound for you because that shows the student sure fail one. The one that you have a very strong competitor, Chinese we call 高手, strong competitor beside you is zig 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 zig. The zig 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 is writing sound. But this writing sound, they write some, they hold on. They write some, they hold on. Strong competitor. The one you also feel very, very happy one. Never stop one. Don't show fail one. Which one you belong to? The pop 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 one or the zig 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 one? No wonder you fail. So you got to turn yourself to the group 3. Write some, think some. Write some, think some. This is the smart ones. This is a strong one, remember. Okay? So, here is the next question. Mr. Chan, start with B. Okay, let's start with B. Which B? 2 law? After 3 law? No strategy win. If you tell me, start with 2. Why 2? 2 come first, Then 3 comes later, so naturally 2 comes first, so start 2 first. Where is the strategy? This is not strategy. No strategy at all. Do you know that if you observe, you do all your observation for the type of questions in B, do you realize that there's only 2 types of questions in section B? You want to tell which one? Which 2? Cannot tell. I tell you now. You go and check all the past paper in section B only. The first type of question, which is very common, it's, look here, look at the screen. Story, 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 appendix. Okay, you try this one. Question 3, story, got appendix, got. That's called type 1, no? You know what is type 2, Type 2 macam ini, I try my luck. You take a look at your specimen exam. Okay, just look at the screen will do. Okay, specimen exam. Section B. Come, look here. Story, story, story. I'm talking about this one. Story, story, story. Appendix, right? Okay, so far so good. Still the same style, right? Okay, go on. Questions 3. Story, 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 story. Got appendix, no more. These are the 2 styles. The one come with appendix. Appendix always come with figures and the one no appendix. You got 2 possibility. One, you will get 1 section B come with appendix 1. The other section B, no appendix 1. Macam ini lah. If like this, which one do you start first? The one with appendix or the one without appendix? Many of us tell me this, Mr. Zhang, do the one that you are more familiar with. So let me ask you this question. How to define the one you're more familiar with? Go by topic. This question asks about activity-based management. The other one asks about value-based management. I'm more better in APM. Got it already? You think questions on APM easy? That's why I'm asking you. Then what makes you think VBM question is more difficult? Students still haven't got a clue. The one that determines whether you can get a marks to pass is not on the topic they ask. It's on the style. It's on the work that you must put in to generate idea to write. That depends on the lined up, the style of the questions, not the topic. So, wrong move already. If you chose a sequence by its topic, wrong moved. So back to the point. Which one do you start first? The one with appendix or the one without appendix? The one without. Because the one without all theory ma. Good law. What is the activity involved? Read, think, write. Read, think, write. So little activity. Activity causes cost, right? We learn it in ABC ma. Now in exam, activity causes time. Time is marks. Come on, the lesser the activity, the lesser the time you waste. Don't you think so? Use your ABC to improve your exam technique. That is what I'm talking about. You're so glad, you should feel glad because you learn APM. You learn APM, you shouldn't fail in exam. You learn AA, you fail, of course you fail lah, because AA didn't teach you how to do exam. You take APM, how to fail lah. You learn every single tools that help you to manage your performance, but still fail. I really don't know why. That simply means to you, you learn something but you don't use it. All these are the techniques that is helping you to improve your performances, obviously. Think of it, think again, okay? Start with the one without table. No matter what they ask, do that first. Time's up, go next. Time's up, go next. So leave the one with table at the end. Remember. Understand? Scenario 2, which is very likely. You may get both the question also have appendix, which is like what you see in March 20. Both also got appendix. See, this is the appendix for questions 2. This is the appendix for questions 3. Which one do you start? To me, I start with the appendix with more numbers or lesser numbers. I don't talk about long or short lah. Long or short very difficult to measure one ma. We talk about numbers. You start with the one with more numbers or lesser numbers? More numbers. More number you got to think one more. And you got to pop one more. The more you pop, the more diverse your attention is going away. Don't do that. Start with the one with lesser number. Lesser number, you do lesser right? You can spend more time on concentrating ma. That is how you put in your effort to generate idea, to write good answer. None of us, including me, can self-claim to be, I'm a genius. No one can claim that. My idea is only be possible when I spend time to think. I don't spend time to think. What is the good quality of answers coming from? No way. You cannot just simply vomit and simply bluff a good answer, right? Good answer must come with the logical thinking. You must come with a strong defense, and then you got to write. Remember just now I told you, good answer with high marks are lesser in wording and shorter in answer comparing to those who fail. That is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? So next time, when you choose your exam questions to start with, don't choose by the topic, choose by the style and the volume of the work you have to do. If both got appendix, start with the one where the appendix has lesser number. In this case, this is the number I have in questions 3. This is the number I have in questions 2. You know which one I will start with? Some say, I start with this first. I tell you, don't think the number is only coming from sini. Wait, number also come from here one more. You go and kumpul, this number come in different shape. Different shape, you need different way of understanding. I think this should be easier, no? This number lineup is only one pattern. One pattern easier for you to understand, ma. So my plan, my attack plan in that sitting, I will start with questions 3. Then I will go for questions 1. Then I will go for questions 2. That's why you need 5 minutes to think long. This sequence will, to an extent, will affect your chances of passing. I'm sure some of us must have this experience. Yeah, Mr. Chan, I should have started that questions first. Come out from exam hall, go and tell the friend. Go and leave in the story of the social media. I should have started with another question. Next time, change the habit lah. Don't go and keep telling people, I should have. There's no beggar already in the world. If everyone also know I should have, no need to say I should have. It's either you plan or stop complaining. There is nothing called I should have. Fail lah. That means that you have chosen the wrong plan. So my last advice for you, when you have selected questions 3 to start, these are the remaining time for you to use. 180 plus 5 minutes, you will have 185 minutes over here to attempt and answer the questions based on the following. My suggestion is, these 185 minutes, you should do in this way. Attempt the question with the following speed. I know a lot of lecturers and a lot of books make sure 1 mark, spend 1.8 minutes. Everyone should know the mathematics. Me, I tell you, 1 mark, spend 1.5 minutes for that. You therefore will allocate 2.5 hours to attempt all the 3 questions. Mr. Chan, you're crazy. 3 hours also not enough. 2.5 laggy words. I know that. Most likely, as you as a student, you may not be able to finish all by 2.5 hours. I know that. The whole idea is simple. I need some time at the end to fill in the blank with the remaining 35 minutes. That's my plan. When I start attempting the questions, as I say just now, I'm going to start with the first questions, right? Section B, which in this case, assuming is questions 3. When you try questions 3, you will read this requirement one more time to start imagining your answer plan, right? And then you're going to read the story to pick up the clue to form your content of the answer plan. You agree? I'm quite sure a lot of us would have these things during the exam. After reading, Mr. Chan, this question is very difficult. Don't know what is the answer for the part 1 and 2. So you know what to do? Change plans. Don't do questions 3. Go and read questions 2 first. Wait, you're changing your plan. What makes you think questions 2 very easy? Very likely if you change the plan, you're going to do like this. After reading questions 2, laggy worse. So better still, go back to questions 3. Sure fail one. Are you a person like this, undecisive one? Read the whole question, feel a bit difficult, change story, change plan. Don't do this. It's very bad. You're going to tell yourself, every question, whether question 1, 2, or 3, they sure have hurdles. Hurdles means that you read, you stuck there. Sure got this. Just tell yourself, they sure got hurdles. You are not supposed to run away. You are supposed to get over it. Break through the hurdle. That is the right mindset. When I start with 3, no matter what, I die have to finish 3. I don't even want to change my plan. No time to change plan. You just got to get over it. I will show you all the ways to get over the hurdles. That's it. So, when you try your questions 3, you have 25 marks. Times 1.5 minutes, you have about 37.5, which I will round up to 38 minutes. 38 minutes, it's for you to try a section B questions. You know how to split your time? To tackle a questions, the 3 activities you're going to do is to read, plan, answer. right? Which part is the most time-consuming one? Read, plan, answer. The most time-consuming is read and plan. You don't do these two, what to write? Write rubbish, obviously, right? So the first two is the most time-consuming and the most important one. Questions for you. Out of 38 minutes, how many minutes will you spend for the first two? I don't know about you. Me, I will draw a cutoff line at 50%. Maximum 50% is to read and to plan. 19 minutes gone already. So I got 19 minutes for me to write part A and B. Can finish, ma? Cannot finish, huh? I tell you, can finish one. A, 13 marks, huh? Times 1.5 minutes. That's about 20 minutes, huh? Chop half, 10 minutes, huh? 10 minutes, you can write your answer for A up to 13 marks. How long is the answer for 13 marks? The answer is 10 marks worth of answer. Your answer is about 1 page long. 13 marks, your answer is slightly more than 1 page. Maybe 1 page and 1/3. Must be chun-chun, no need chun-chun. Can be slightly lesser, can be slightly more, up to you. But that is the volume you have to fill up. But nobody asks you to fill up without spacing, ma. You know what I'm talking about? That is my target. I just got to think about how do I fill up the space for the 13 marks. If 13 marks, you write half a page, sure fail one. If 13 marks, you write 2-3 pages, also fail because you write too much of rubbish already, ma. But let's say 10 minutes, I write 1 page and 1/3 Can finish good lah. Cannot finish, time's up already. 10 minutes gone, I'm still on the first page. What do? I stop lah. I want to go elsewhere lah. But when I go elsewhere, I still got point. Never mind. You turn to the next page, right? You write heading. Write heading, leave 5 line. Spacing. Oh, another point, another heading, another spacing. Before I go, I still have idea. I write the heading first. I will leave the column empty. I go next. Next, time's up. Also cannot finish, never mind. Write heading, leave it empty. Because you come to 2.5 hours later, you have half an hour to go. Turn back to your answer paper. Whatever space that already got heading, go back and fill in the blank, don't you think so? The smartest ways to write a theory questions is to make whole piece of empty paper become a fill in the blank. How to fill in the blank? Heading, you just got to fill up a paragraph. Heading, fill up a paragraph. That's it. With heading, that means you got the idea. You just got to execute it. That means, what if I have no idea left? Then you leave spacing alone, no heading one. Those kinds of part, you do it last. Prioritize the time. What you need is only half the mark. With these kinds of skills, with this kinds of habit, trust me, a good one, the volume of answer by 2.5 hours should give you 50 marks already. Good one. Whatever you fill up is for you to get more than 50. This is where you can earn up to 60 or more marks in APM. But majority of the students, if you want to pass, make sure the volume of answer you write in 2.5 hours, you must hit about 40 marks. The last half an hour is for you to race against the time, fit in 10 more paragraphs to earn 10 more marks. That will give you 50 marks, num to pass. It worked. You look at my eye. I'm telling you very confidently, it worked. And the result has proven not one time, many times. Later on, I will show you an email from the students. I didn't tell everything. I just say, the student says, hey, do this. And she go and practice this, obviously. And let her tell you what she felt about this. Anyway, that is my suggestion for the timing. Okay, ma? Good. I would like